Yep.
Our next question comes from Rick Mentra of Cox News Service. Please state your question.
Good afternoon, Ryan. I have a question about the car tomorrow. I'm not suggesting like a total overhaul of it, but are there some changes you think could be made possibly over the off season that would make it a better race car at some of the tracks where it hadn't been so great?
Well, I think that there's different ways of looking at that. You know, from a mechanical standpoint, there are things that we could do to make the car ride different or be able to adjust on it differently. I haven't been a really big fan of the bump stops, but you know, they are a way that we tune the race car, and they are a way that we can create advantages. So they are one thing that's, you know, as it is a disadvantage, it is an advantage to be able to have over other teams and what you're doing to make the car ride better. Ideally, we'd not like to have bump stops. We just go off 4 shocks and 4 springs to keep it simple. But when you make it more complex, it makes the you know, the more understanding teams be more successful. So the second part of it is the aerodynamics of the car. I don't know that they're ideal. I'm not a huge fan of the wing. I think that we'd get more side drafting and have a little bit better side-by-side racing if we had a spoiler on the back of it. And I think that you'll see a lot of the things that we would ideally like to have seen in the car tomorrow for the Cup Series, in the car tomorrow for the Nationwide Series in the future, just based on the things that both NASCAR and the teams have learned.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. Our next question comes from Robert Dorogier of VRD Broadcasting. Please state your question.
Ryan, if NASCAR asked you if you had any changes inside your mind for the chase, is there something on your mind that you would say, yeah, let's change this about the chase?
I don't know. I mean, I want it to be as realistic racing and not a fabricated point system or fabricated, you know, championship trail in other people's eyes. I mean, there's a lot of historical significance in the way that we race and the way that we you know, award points. So, and that's been a successful pattern for the last 50-plus years. So, ideally, to answer your question, there's nothing that stands out in my mind. I've always said that I'd like to have points awarded for qualifying, but that's separate from the chase. And you know, I still feel that we spend an entire day, you know, getting our starting positions. And you know, if you have the opportunity to give 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the top 5 qualifiers, I think that would be good. And I think that will, secondly, change the points before you ever start the race, which is, you know, a big hype as well, especially in the chase format.
Also, Ryan, this Thursday at Michigan International Speedway, they have asked people to bring their dogs to the track dressed in Halloween costumes, and the winner's going to receive a book signed by you. Did I hear about that correctly?
Yeah. Actually, I'm involved in voting for the winner. So it's really cool what Roger Curtis and everybody's done up there at Michigan International Speedway, and you know, they're very much into the outdoors and going green and things along those lines, and you know, just incorporating animals with you know, the fans and with NASCAR racing is something that we're definitely a big fan of with our foundation, and obviously in NASCAR, involved in NASCAR. So I think that that's pretty cool, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And the second part of that is we got a new book that we're building that's coming out in February, so hopefully we can do it again next year with a brand new book to offer some lucky fans.
Great. Thank you very much, and continued good luck out there on the track.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Chris Despain of RubensRacing.com. Please state your question.
Hi, Brian. Good afternoon. Last month in Atlanta, you did pretty good with a top 10 finish, and it's the first night race in Atlanta. I wanted to get your overall impression of how you thought about the night race in Atlanta.
I liked it. I've always liked night racing, whether it's USAC open wheel racing or NASCAR Sprint Cup racing. So it's I think it's more exciting for the drivers. It's more exciting for the fans, and you know, it's cooler, which makes it more tolerable for us for sure. But you know, just the way the light reflects off the cars, I think that you know, all the racetracks have done a great job with the lighting to make it realistic and safe for driving, and it's a lot of fun. I think night races are typically better, and I'm not saying I want all of them to be night races, but you know, there's a reason why a lot of the races have switched into night races.
Okay, and kind of follow up on that, do you think that we should have more night racing in the NASCAR than what's currently in the schedule?
I think that there's a good balance. I mean, places like Indianapolis, I think, are always going to be day races. You know, I don't think that they're realistically going to put lights up around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's just my opinion, but I think that there's a fine balance to have, and you know, I'd say 60-40 night races to day races would be just about right if I had to do the math.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Our next question comes from Kerry Murphy of the Final Lap Radio. Please state your question.
Hey, Ryan. I'm wondering, Goodyear recently tested a wider tire, and I wanted to see if you've heard anything about it, good, bad, indifferent, and how do you think it will possibly change the racing?
I'm not sure. I know that they have plans of that, and I know a lot of other series have wider tires as well as taller tires, and not just in overall circumference, but in wheel diameter. So there's some things that they're looking into, but you know, I don't think that that's something that's necessary for the sport. I don't think we should per se reinvent the wheel when we have things that we could shine up right now in respect to certain racetracks and you know, put on great shows for the fans. I mean, ultimately it's the show for the fans that we're working on, and I don't think that a different wheel and tire combination is the ideal way to you know, solve that you know, solve that situation.
All right, thanks again.
Yep.
Thank you. I would like now to turn the conference back to our host, Per Branham. Sir?
Yeah, thanks, and thanks to Ryan Newman for taking time out of your schedule this week to join us. Best of luck at Talladega Super Speedway and the rest of the chase.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to all the media who participated today. As always, we appreciate the coverage.
Thank you. A transcript of this teleconference will be available later today, along with video and audio files. All can be accessed at www.nascarmedia.com. That does conclude our teleconference. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect.